Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to the Popternative podcast, the podcast and talk show where we have digital discussions from the worlds of TV, film, sports, pop culture, social media, everything really, depending on the guest. We talk about it all. As always, I'm your host, Peter Remoliotis, and social media, you know me as PD Beats. You'll recognize my guest from Stargirl on DC Universe and CW. Hunter Sansone is with us. Hunter, welcome to Popternative.
Hey, Peter, thanks for having me, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How about you, man? How are things on your end?
I'm doing good, just riding out this weird time, staying indoors as best as everyone can,
No, absolutely. First of all, we have so much more Stargirl to see, but congratulations so far on the success of Stargirl, man. It's awesome to see.
Thanks so much, man. Yeah, it's been such a wild journey, and we shot this thing like almost over a year ago, I believe, and to see it finally come out now in all of its glory, it's pretty it's pretty special.
And I gotta say, because I'm on as you know, a media guy and a podcast host, I go on social media and I do my research and media monitor, like certain things, right? And episode 1 got released on DC Universe, right? And then the day after, all these Stargirl Facebook fan groups were being made, and there was memes already being made. It kind of hit right away, which is crazy.
I know. That was wild. The cast, we were all talking about it. We just couldn't believe how well it was received. I mean, we knew it was cool. You go down and you work on a project for 6 months, and we always felt like it was so special and so personal and this incredible project. But it's one thing for you to believe something. It's another for the public to receive it the same way. So when everyone kind of did and loved it the way we did, it was just, it was the best feeling in the world.
When I talked to Jake Austin Walker, who plays Henry King Jr., who plays a fellow villain's son, he said going to set was like going to an amusement park. The set was unbelievable.
Absolutely. I compared it to a full-on blockbuster budget film. That's what it felt like. It was incredible. I haven't worked on many TV sets, but I mean, for me, I was like, there's no way they're all like this, because it was just, you got all these you got all the stunt teams running around, and you got all these huge cranes, and then you got this giant robot hanging out. It was pretty surreal. So yeah, it was like none other.
And can we talk about how amazing the show looks? I mean, you're filming this, you go on the set, it looks so good, right, Hunter?
Yes. Yeah, no, 100%. And we didn't, obviously, when you're filming it, you don't know how it's going to look on camera until it comes out. And so that was the biggest thing for all of us watching once it was released, is we were just blown away by the special effects and just the overall cinematic quality of the entire project. I mean, it's just so beautiful. It looks so beautiful. I mean, this last episode, one of my scenes in the diner, I was like, oh, that's cool. Cool scene. But I was just blown away by the set deck and the colors and just overall just the entire quality of the entire scene.
For sure. We kind of dove right into the Stargirl. We'll get back into it, of course, but I kind of want to get to know you in terms of how you kind of got into acting and storytelling and performing. When did that all start for you specifically? When did you decide that was what you want to do?
Yeah. For me, from a young age, I grew up part of my life on a farm, and then part of my life in the city. My parents got divorced when I was real little, so my dad was on the farm and my mom was in town, so I kind of got the best of both worlds. And so I was really on the farm with animals, or I was in town playing sports. So for me, acting was not really a thing I had ever really considered. My mom, on the other hand, has been a professional singer my whole life and vocal coach, and so she was around it and she used to mention it to me. But to me, it always felt like a mom just saying, oh, I believe you can do anything. And she would always say it to me. And so I finally one day, went to an acting class with her in my hometown, and I got interested and I got hooked, and I took it very serious. And I took classes for a few years in high school. And then I took the big move to Los Angeles. I think that'd be about around 6 years ago now. And yeah, it just kind of, it was not a typical route. I feel like most kids kind of like do theater in high school. I never did theater. I was in sports and things like that. And when I said I took classes, they were outside of school classes. They were like independent studio classes. They weren't like, high school classes. So, that's kind of how it happened. And I moved out here and just started auditioning. And yeah.
You mentioned you played sports. Your character does not play sports, so to say.
No.
You're more of kind of like a cool, like silent, kind of in the background. I feel like you're that guy. Like you're obviously like an artist a little bit. We see,
Right. Yeah.
But like there is definitely, because it's like a high school, and there are some characters that are sporty. There is the sport component to the show that I don't think people realize as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I mean, you see. Most recently, you see Artemis out there playing football. I mean, they've got some cool.
And his parents.
Yeah.
How cool is that first scene of episode 6, man?
Sportsmaster and Tigress, dude, they are like such a badass, dangerous duo. Like they're incredible. I love them, and just who they are as people. I mean, they're great. And I'm so happy for them. And that opening scene is getting tons of love, and it should be. And so yeah, it's cool to see the sports aspect, and to go back to what you were saying, I didn't, that was the fun challenge, was playing Cameron, who was not like I was in high school. I was playing sports, and I like to think I was definitely a little bit more outgoing than Cameron.
Yeah.
Cameron is definitely withdrawn and silent, and a lot of that has to do with the loss of his mom at a young age.
Mm-hmm.
And he expresses himself through his art, and for me that's such a cool thing to go into as an actor, because I wasn't like that. I wasn't this talented artist as a kid. So, and
your dad on the show, Icicle, is like literally like the coolest character on the show.
He's unreal, man. Neil Jackson, that guy.
He's got this like swag, eh?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, no wonder why he got the job. I mean, he, for me, I was telling someone the other day, he was not only a father and a mentor to me on screen, but off screen as well. And, he's this guy he's been in the industry all these years, and he's done all these incredible projects, and I'm just getting started. And so to have that mentor throughout this process was incredible. And he's such a generous actor when you're in a scene. He was really wanting to help me throughout the process. And so I really, really appreciated that. And as far as like this guy with this overall swagger, I got to tell you a funny story. My mom watched that scene at the end, I think it was at the end of 2, when he shows up in the Cadillac and he walks into the American Dream, and that song "I'm the Man" is playing.
By
and
the
it's
Killers, great song.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And
the soundtrack is amazing, man. I just want to say it's a great soundtrack.
Oh, it's incredible. Oh my gosh. The music alone is just unreal. My mom got hooked to that song. So like she'll be driving around just like blasting that song. And I'm like, oh my God. Like this is just so surreal. So yeah, no, he's great. He's great.
Has it hit you yet that you are in a TV show based on a DC comic world?
Yes. It's definitely hit me now, like 6 episodes in. I don't know. It's like you have moments where it hits you, and then you're just kind of like, oh, it's back. Like, you're just doing your thing. You're just doing your job. And then it hits you, and it just comes in waves, man, like anything. I mean, it's just, I'm extremely grateful, and I try not to take any of it for granted, and continue to just treat it like it's my first, and it could be someone's last. And I feel like it's important to treat it like that, because that will keep you focused and humble.
There's superheroes and there's villains in the show, but I just feel like top to bottom, man, like the cast is so good. Everyone's amazing. Everyone when they're on screen, like I was talking to Jake about this, like everyone's screen time, like some episodes, some people have more screen time than others, but like it's kind of the writers kind of like every time we see Cameron, even if it's like for 2 seconds, right? It's like important. Right. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's the way I kind of have like justified it, because some people are like, oh, we want Cameron to have more screen time. And like, yeah, I mean, that's great. And who doesn't want, more screen time? But for me, the moments that I do have, like you said, I think they're pretty critical to the storyline. So it's important, and people pay attention to those moments. It's not just some, whatever little tiny thing. So it's cool.
It's cool because it's really cool how the show did it. Because like you see like your character and Jay's character, and we both find out that your parents are supervillains in the Injustice Society, and you both kind of have like different kind of elements to like whether you're evil or not. Like, and it's like, for example, we introduce, like, it's like opposites. Like, we were introduced to Henry, and we're like, oh, this guy's a jerk. Like, he's going to be a supervillain. And then there's kind of some moments where you're like, well, maybe he's not, right? You were like, you're this cool, like silent, like cool, like soft-spoken guy who's good at art, you know what I mean? And then, but then you're like, wait a second. Like, when you go and see your dad, you're like, he might be evil. It's cool how like you don't know, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think they do. I think the storytelling, the writing is just, they did such a great job with kind of leaving people guessing at every single turn, and people are going to constantly be reevaluating the opinions that they're forming because of exactly like you said, you don't know. I mean, you don't know what direction any of us are going to take, and I think that's the fun, unexpected journey of it all. And, so you see one scene and you're like, that's who he's going to be. And then you see the next and you're like, wait, I don't know. So, you're
cool. Definitely like in my top 5, like favorite characters in terms of intrigue. Like I'm intrigued to see what Cameron, like I'm like, I want to know what's going to happen with your character. And I feel like that's the point, right? You know what I mean?
Thanks, man. Yeah. I mean, that is kind of the benefit of like not tons of screen time is the mystery aspect, because if a character is important enough, you have a vibe of there's got to be something else, but you don't know because they're keeping it mysterious. So I think that's
because besides you, like my other 3 is obviously like your dad, Icicle.
Oh yeah.
Sportsmaster.
Yep.
And I gotta say, man, like Mike, like Trey Romano, like Mike Duggan, he's the best, man. I'm sorry. He's so funny.
Oh, Trey, man, he is incredible. He was such a highlight for me throughout this experience. So I'm Italian and he's Italian as well. I don't know. I'm Italian and Lebanese. I don't know. I think he may just be 100% Italian. I don't know. But anyway, so we were always joking around on set, like speaking in New York accents, messing with each other. And he was this little kid, but he was acting like a 45-year-old grown man.
Everyone say that in interviews.
And it's so true though. But he went like in the 6-month period of time filming, he went from like this looking like a kid to looking like a young man within just 6 months. Like I think we literally filmed during like his biggest growth spurt in his life. And it was just it was so funny and bizarre to like you start out talking to this kid and at the end you're talking to a young man.
Yeah, like you definitely like when I interviewed him on the show, like he definitely looked like he got a growth spurt for sure.
Absolutely. He's great, man. He's so talented. He's truly a little comedic genius, and he has, the best mentor around in Luke Wilson to help him with. I mean, so when you combine 2 little gifted comedians, essentially comedic actors, you're bound to get some incredible scenes.
You know when you go to like arcades, Hunter, and there's like the crane game and like that game, right? The like getting like Luke was like Stargirl was announced, you know what I mean, and people are familiar with the comics and they're excited, like wow, a new DC Universe show. But then like when they announced that Luke Wilson was gonna be on it, it was like getting like the like the prize in the crane game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like be like, oh,
Yeah.
wow, like it's Luke Wilson. You know what I mean?
It adds a whole nother element to it. I mean, he's, just like Neil, he's had this incredible career. I mean, I grew up watching him. So
Old school.
Oh, old school. That's one of the highlights. Legally Blonde. You could just go down the list, and he's the nicest, most humble guy on the planet. And he was so cool to develop a little friendship with him. I mean, and I think everyone in the cast could say that. Everyone developed their own friendship with him. He wasn't, standoffish to anyone.
Your character doesn't really have that many, actually, I don't think there has been any interactions between your character and his character.
No, I don't think there has been.
Well, his interactions with like Cameron, who plays Our Man,
Yes.
those are really like I like those interactions. Like there's like a cool chemistry there.
Especially in these past 2 episodes, you really start to see that develop, and I think they're great on screen together. So yeah,
like, obviously, cool. Like Trey and Luke are like the best. Like that father-son is like the best thing.
That was some very good casting right there.
It was so good. So you're kind of you're on social media, you see it. Have you noticed a little bit of like a spike every time a new episode comes up, especially like episode 2 or 3, where we kind of learned a little bit more about your your character? Have you seen a little bit of like a spike in fan comments and shares and everything? Have you seen a bit of that?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the cool part. I mean, that's one of the many cool parts is fan interaction. And yeah, so definitely. I mean, once 3 dropped, that it started significantly gaining, and then 6, most recently. I mean, so that's cool. I mean, I to talk to other people and be able to interact and share with other people that love your show and support what you're doing. I think that kind of makes it all worth it. And so I try to interact with as many people as I can on there and let them know we appreciate it. And so that's neat. I mean, some of these guys have been dealing with that type of fan interaction for years. So for me, it's a fairly new thing, and it's really neat. It's really cool.
Absolutely. Well, Hunter, thank you so much for coming on Popternative, man. Yeah,
man. Thanks so much. I'm glad we can make it happen. I mean, you're working your way through the cast.
Man, I'm getting it's like Pokemon, like gotta catch them all, right?
Hey man, I'll definitely mention it to the remaining few.
There's not as many as you think, eh? Like I was going through the list.
I know, man. You've really knocked a lot of us out.
What's really cool? What I'll tell you what's cool is I've interviewed a lot of I'm gonna tell you this. Like you can go back and like I've have like my playlist where I have interviewed like 7 or 8 people from like Orange is the New Black and like Stranger Things. Like I've done that, and like you talk to them, but this cast seems to really be like a family. Like you all speak so like highly about each other. You know what I mean? Which is awesome.
Well, I'm happy to hear that it comes off like that, because that's truly what it is. I mean, we're all so close. We, I think a few of us knew each other, kind of knew of each other before. But I mean, really, once we got casted, especially like the core like teen group of like Cameron and Jake and Breck and Meg, Yvette, Angelica, and myself. I mean, we really bonded, and the adults as well, and then Trey. I mean, everyone came together, but I mean, especially we're like I consider
like the Injustice Society, who are like the villains off like screen, like are like the coolest, like nicest people of all time.
I know. Hey, that's credit to their acting. I mean, they really did a great job.
Absolutely. So, where can people follow you on social media to keep up to date with everything?
Yeah, my Instagram is just @HunterSansone. Just my name, no spaces, and it's the same exact thing for Twitter. And I believe my public Facebook page is the same as well, if you just search Hunter Sansone. So those are the main 3.
Well, congratulations so far. We can't wait to see more episodes of Stargirl, man. It's awesome.
Hey, thanks so much, man. I appreciate it. I had a great time.
No problem. Well, this has been Popternative. YouTube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. And until next time, this is Hunter Sansone and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.